Gentlemen, welcome back to the mess, which is my desk, and today we are going to be looking at the MC02 FPV camera and transmitter, which is all in one unit. Now, before we go any further, I'd just like to stress that I was not sent this item as a review sample. I bought this out of my own pocket. I also bought the MC01, which you may or may not be able to see on your screen. I also bought that one out of my own pocket, and I have been super impressed with the MC01. I've flown it out to about 600 meters plus. Yeah, it did get a bit sketchy, but yeah, what a fantastic all-in-one module. So we'll be using the MC01 as a reference point. I'll also give you an early heads up. There won't be any flight footage in this review. I will do that separately. It's literally just been and turned up in the mail here today, and I wanted to share with you my first thoughts on the Eachine MC02. So with that said, let's get her unboxed and have a look inside to see what we get. So I've got my phone with me as well, so we'll be able to get a much closer view on the actual box itself. So we can see in there it's extremely well packed, and the foam which you get with this, always keep, because it comes in super handy for making either little feet for your quadcopters, or just safely packaging either the video transmitter back in here or for other models. So with that said, let's get her open. And by the way, this is the first time I've seen it. I unboxed it in my mail a few seconds ago, but all I did was open the lid. So we got a bit of cardboard. Let's get rid of that. Right, let's have a look at the accessories first. So there is a manual which comes with it, which is pretty limited. If we take a look at that, let me just make sure that's in focus for you. There we go. So we can see that it 2S. Oh, press that one there for TX on off. Press the 5-second powered switch. So that must be for us changing between the 25 milliwatts and 200 milliwatts. So a quick reference point, the MC01, that camera is at only 25 milliwatts on there. This one you can switch between 25 and 200. So for example, the reason why you would want that kind of switchability is that maybe you're flying a micro quad like my poor broken one, which I made here, which was brilliant fun until I broke the frame on it. Maybe you're flying it indoors and maybe with some fellow pilots, and you want to reduce the power down so it's not bouncing all around the, like inside, for example. But then when you go outside and you want to go a little bit further, then you can change the power setting on it without having to change the camera up to 200 milliwatts and go that little bit further and have that better reception, maybe when you're flying by yourself or not in a group of people. So we've got the LED on, so you know when we know it's on, off, and we can also see apparently there's some dots in there to let us know when it's 200 or 25. We've got the functions on there, whether it's to flip it around, so we can change between flip, mirror, NTSC or PAL, and 4 for audio. Channel selection is the top switch. Also note this is a 600 TVL line camera, whereas the MC01 was only a 600 TVL. To be frankly honest, anything past about 650 lines is lost anyway. Remember, you are streaming live video to either your Fat Sharks or maybe like the cheaper little goggles which I've got on my desk. So anything above 650 lines is just lost in translation anyway. We can also see the pinout as well, and what I'll do, I'll take a photograph of this card for you and include it at the very end of this video, and then there's some other specifications. So if they use to float your boat, I'll take a photograph of this and include it at the end of the video for you. Right, that's enough of the instructions. We get some balance lead connectors. Now I am just quickly hunting around my desk to find my last MC01 which I bought. And you'll see on here, in fact, let me put this on the bottom camera for you, and let me just click on the screen so that you can see it in focus. You'll see what I've been and done is take one of the balance lead connectors, soldered on the red and the black cable, and then just put a bit of hot snot in there, hot glue, and then a little bit of heat shrink on top. So we've been and got a really nice plug, which we can then just plug onto the balance lead of our batteries. Now, obviously, if you're flying a mini quad, you'll just go on and solder that onto the board. But if you do intend to use in your MC02 on a plane, a little tip for you is glue it on to a little bit of plywood like so, and put some Velcro on the bottom, and then that then means that you can pick this off and stick it on any model you desire. So you can turn any aeroplane or quadcopter into an FPV platform just by the sake of a bit of plywood and a little bit of Velcro. Let's put that one back there. Now we do have the inverter board as well, so if you're only going to be using this with a 1S battery, this is the booster module which will take your 3.7 volts from your 1S back, and you'll be able to boost it from 3.7 volts up to 5 volts, and then that will be able to power the camera. So I'm going to put that back in the box, so I don't want to lose that one because I'll be using that on one of my other mini quads. Lots of balance leads, so we've got 2S, 3S, 4S, 5S, and 6S, I think. Yeah, wow. Okay, really, really big voltage range, including 1S if we use the board. So let's pop those away in the box. Let's have a look at the actual camera itself. So, right, let's get back to the other camera so you can see this. And again, I'm just going to put my thumb next to it so you get an idea of scale. It is absolutely diddy. As far as weight goes, let's get the scales out. And we'll just turn the scales on and wait for that to zero out. So including all the cables, except for the additional cables, which seem to have come with it. Let's take those out of the way, pop that in there. So including the cables, we are talking 12 grams for that tiny little camera. So happy days on that front. Also, I've only just spotted this. Let me get the MC01 camera and put this side by side. Can you spot, and let me get the camera up so you can see this. And let me just refocus that for you. Can you see that here with the MC01, for some strange reason, they put the power lead on the bottom. So when I mounted this on this bit of plywood and there was a hole in, I had to drill a hole in there so that the camera would sit down flat. Such a pain in the rear. Whereas with the MC02, they've obviously been and listened to our feedback, and we've got the cables mounted on the side, which is definitely happy days. And yeah, really straightforward. So we've got a collection of wires in there. I am just going to go back and refer to the little manual which came with it. So we've got the red is 4.8 to 26 volts. That's nuts. Black is there, and PWM. So if you're thinking about your quadcopter, all you need to do is to power up using the red and black wires. If you fancy doing some really funky stuff, and if you've got a spare channel on your receiver, what you can do is send a signal to using the white wire. So maybe you plug this into just into your receiver, for example, is that you'll be able to put that onto another channel, flick a switch, for example, on the right-hand side of the Tyrannus, that one switch which you never use for anything else, the one you know the one in the top right-hand corner. Click that switch, and it will change the channel for you. So you don't need to get it back down and then come in here and then mash the channel button to choose a different channel. Okay, so what I'm now going to go and do, I'm going to go and get this wired up. I'm going to find myself a little 2S battery, and I'm going to connect this up, and we'll take a look to see what the video quality is like. I've been and got myself a 2S battery. We'll use green as ground, and we'll use blue as positive. And obviously do go super careful of polarity with these. So I am just going to double check. We have green as ground, so that's black, and blue as positive. So let's mark these two up. So green is ground, so that's the black one, and blue is definitely positive, so that's the red wire there. So let's plug that in. Brilliant. I can already see that there's some lights coming on the back of it. So I've just been and powered it up, and we can see some lights have come on the back. I presume that red light on the back is telling us that we're on. So if I press and hold that button, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, Let me just check the manual. If I press it for 2 seconds, the transmitter is off. So 1, 2. Look, the light's just been and got brighter. Sorry, it's out of focus there for you. And if I now press it for 5 seconds, the power would switch. So we do need to look for that little dot going on and off. So let's count to 5 now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the light's gone off. So that little dot's just been and gone off. So that now tells us that we're using 25 milliwatts of power. Now, if you wanted to change the channel, we can click on that little button there and we can see the number incrementing. So I'm just going to keep pressing that to see where we go. Seem to just go up to through the tables. Now let's go and turn on the Fat Sharks and see what happens. That's working. So let's get the Fat Sharks turned on and take a look. Oh, brilliant. It was on whatever channel it was on there by default. So I'm just looking at my camera. It is into the Fat Sharks. It is a super clear picture, which to be honest, you kind of expect because the radius is just a couple of inches for there. Really, really nice quality color image. Let me just move this around. And by the way, I will share this view with you, but first impressions, color density is very good. Really good. Like the green is green, the yellow is yellow, the red is red, the orange or the yellowness on the plug is very, very good indeed. So let's go and turn on this headset, which is my cheapo headset, which I give the kids. Oh, and that one's on the right channel as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick the camera up. So you're going to have to apologize for the angle on here. But if we take a look in there, so let me turn the screen on so you can see what I can see. And just look at that. The quality on the picture is very, very good. And I sincerely hope that's coming out for you. So yeah, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I didn't even need to range search for the channels. I am super impressed with this. Now, before we go, I just want to make a special note on Banggood. Now, you noticed a few minutes ago that I had another video transmitter here. This is the MC01, and I used it for about a week non-stop. I had it on the Texumo, I had it on the Bonsai Flying Wings, I had it on a collection of my other models, but unfortunately I went to go and use it and it just didn't work anymore. Now, if that had been another site, maybe Hobby King, for example, then we would have had to fight with customer support to try and get a refund or a replacement. When it came to Banggood, all I did, because I knew it was just a genuine fault, is that I shot them an email. I did actually make them a mini video and go, look, she's not working. There's just no power in there. And I connected up the other power lead and look, it's dead. I can even show you the last DVR footage, which I had, which was ironically one of the best landings I've ever done with it. And they just refunded me for the order. Now, they did offer to make a replacement, but I carried on and I already ordered myself a replacement for it because the MC01 camera is very, very good. Now, for price ranges, the MC01 is about £20 sterling. So if I swap that to USD and hit save, that's about $26. And putting my money where my mouth is, when that one broke, and that was the MC01, I immediately bought another one, and Banggood customer service came up to my expectations and refunded me for the broken one because I'd already put my money where my mouth was and bought another one and had that, and that's already sat here waiting to get glued up and get on some models. Now, with that said, the MC02, higher transmission power, that's got to be happy days because that means a clearer signal for longer. So it doesn't matter if you're going to be putting it on a quadcopter, whether it's a mini quadcopter or a larger, maybe racing quad, for example. There's hardly any weight to it, as we saw, 12 grams. Or whether you're going to be gluing it up, sticking it on a board, or putting it on a model airplane, happy days. To be honest, it's a tough call between the two. I really like the MC01. The only negative which I would say to this one is that it did struggle quite badly in really bad lighting conditions. And I mean like a really dark, overcast day, and it was just about to rain. It was kind of difficult to fly a model airplane around with that, let alone a quad. Okay, so this one, it's a higher TVL camera in there. I've got both fingers crossed for better quality, and I will get some FPV footage of this one as soon as I can for you. So with that said, if you're interested in buying the MC02 Eachine camera, it is pretty damn cool. It's got more power than the MC01, and you can change the power rating just by pressing that button. There is a link to this camera in the video description underneath this video. Click that link, and also remember, this is an unbiased review. I bought this camera out of my own money, and the reason why I bought it out of my own money is because I was super impressed with the MC01, which I also bought out of my own money as well. So I sincerely hope this video helps you. That is the very first look at the MC02 camera. It literally arrived with me this morning. I sincerely hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, press the like button underneath. And if you've got any questions at all, please let me know in the comments section underneath this video, and I'll do my best to get back to you. It probably won't be for a couple of hours though, because I'm going to take this out and rack the nuts off it. So with that said, from myself, Matt, cheerios!